Ladies and gentlemen, in this podcast, I want us to look at the shareholders Olympics straight at the Ministry of Irrigation. A report that I've just gathered. It was actually in Sunday Nation. It was well captured in Sunday Nation. How it started and how it ended, and what then that means politically. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. Thank you very much for those who are supporting and of course sharing our podcasts with your networks. In the Athi River Water Services, Athi River Water Services CEO, a gentleman known as Michael Twitter, was a whistleblower and blew the whistle about a report on how some water projects, funds that were set aside for water projects in Mount Kenya, were diverted from Mount Kenya, from Murang'a, were diverted to the lower eastern side for some projects. And the Athi Water Services CEO actually placed a finger, or rather blamed the water PS Kiprono Rono. So this is where it started. When the PS realized that he was the one who was being targeted in that onslaught, accused of denying Murang'a and Kiambu counties money meant for the mega dams, he allegedly called the Athi Water Services Board chair and asked him to convene an urgent meeting to discuss how they could assign the CEO lighter duties for exposing him in bad light. That was how they would actually get rid of Michael Twitter, because Michael Twitter was blaming the PS. But then, when Michael Twitter also realized that the board was about to meet to threaten him, or rather to deal him a blow, he also decided to call Alice Wahome, the CS. Alice Wahome, asking her to kindly make sure that he's protected from that move by the PS. And just when the Athi Water Services Board, of course the PS asked the board to sit down, so that they could probably even suspend the chair, suspend Twitter. But when the board sat down, had trooped into the Kiambu Road offices to meet about the Twitter issue, Water Minister Alice Wahome picked up her phone and called the board chair and asked him from when did he start taking instructions from the PS and not herself, who is the CS. And from that point, the meeting that was to be convened to make sure that Twitter is shown the door did not happen. The board chair, having realized that, went and told the members that the meeting that they were supposed to hold was not going to happen. So the games continued. The PS was still committed to hit, to make sure that Michael Twitter is dealt a blow. And he did not stop there. Some UDA leaders were already baffled. PS still furious that UDA shareholders were already punching above their weight, logged into his mail and typed furious letters to EACC asking why the minister would collude with corruption cartels to sabotage his work, and copied the emails to Statehouse for good measure, just to remind the minister about this. So allegedly wrote a letter, and that letter was sent, copied the Statehouse team, but was blaming the minister for colluding with people he called cartels to make sure that to affect his work, and this affected his work. But it did not still end there. Kagumo Member of Parliament Joseph Munyoro and his Gatanga counterpart, Edwin Muriu, both UDA MPs from Alice Wahome's home county of Murang'a, called a press conference giving the PS an ultimatum to return the 1.1 billion project funds that were diverted out of Murang'a, or they would make some noise and actually maybe summon him in the National Assembly. And they should not think that Mount Kenya people would winked just lightly. The Mount Kenya press conference was followed by a tough-talking Alice Wahome, who warned PS Rono that if he doesn't stop copying internal memos to other parties without her consent, he's going to get up with him, with her. Hey, I'm telling you. So this is a situation of back and forth, and of course, this one is not new. From this ministry, this is a political development that has been going on, and there's been that back and forth. Alice Wahome, and you can see the way that game played. It was a meeting, someone blew the cover, and after blowing, was to be punished. And when the board was convened its meeting, Waziri intervened, and the meeting never happened. And before that, someone wrote letters to Statehouse, and after the Statehouse letters, it again came back that Waziri then went to the political muscles, went for the political class, and that's how it was cleared. So it ended 1-1 or 2-2, as how you look at it. I picked that story because it shows you the kind of wars and the fights inside this. You know, I was just reading the report, full report about the meeting that kicked out Ezra Chiloba. It is misappropriation. It borders some misappropriation there on some motive fund, some mortgage that was supposed to be meant for employees or the staff of the CAK. And kinda there was some conflict of interest that then touched on Ezra Chiloba. So it was pushed out, and even himself is yet to respond. Even though there have also been a lot of information about the bad blood between. And today, as we speak, Moses Kuria is not in good relationship with Rigathi Gachagua. Alice Wahome is not having a good relationship with her PS. And William Ruto went to UK to meet people, stakeholders in the IT sector with the PS, while Eliud Owalo, who is a CS in charge of ICT, is back in Assemble meeting UDA delegates at the grassroots. So you wonder what exactly is playing out here. There is something that is working against Ruto from that revelation. One, hands-on leadership is crumbling down government. It is of course good for a CEO. I think quite a number of us that have some few or three people we coordinate around the things we do, to always know whatever is happening, always be hands-on. But again, it has a challenge of limiting the effectiveness, or rather limiting the productivity of an individual. Because if you just put me that I cannot do anything without your consent, honestly, it will not, it tends to work against me, because everything I do because of what the big boss is saying. And you see the way there is a leadership wrangle on who is entitled to speak to the president. The PS writes a letter, copies the Statehouse team, and then this person here, then that means he's believing that from the Statehouse team is going to get some immunity. So there is a very big problem on that hands-on leadership. For example, in this ministry, something comes out that probably the top executive is not so much close to the CS than the PS. Because the PS seems to be a little bit entitled, even though we need to clarify that. The PS is the engine behind every ministry. So if a ministry fails, most of that responsibility or most of that failure is actually taken, is attributed to the leadership quality or leadership style of the PS. Number two, there seems to be some sense of entitlement, and it's actually derailing service delivery. It's not yet clear why the funds were diverted from Murang'a to the Lower Eastern. Probably this is something that had been budgeted before, but of course the first newspaper story that covered that story said that it was because of some political optics, that someone were feeling, already the counties of Mount Kenya, they're already politically leaning to the government. And so to politically appease another voting constituency on the other side, maybe they needed to concentrate some development on that side, and those will be used to maybe convince them to support the government. All is not well. And I think that is what all of us must see from the whole drama between Alice Wahome, Ruto, and the PS. It did not start today. The bad blood between Wahome and, of course, the PS, it has been here, and I've seen a couple of media bloggers even saying that, things are not simply working in synergy. And it shows clearly that time is ripe for first cabinet reshuffle. I foresee a situation where we might not cross over to the next year, 2024, without a cabinet reshuffle. And if we crossed over, maybe we may just operate for this year. By then next year, probably early January, we might have big names might really going to change guard in different ministries, because people seems not to be getting synergy. Thank you.